Okay, we're going to have some rice in a very, just a short while, but let's put some fuel in some gasoline in the generators and the cars and find out how those companies that retail petrol and diesel and kerosene, how their shares are faring, in particular those listed on the stock exchange. The queues are still out there. As at this morning, of course, the NNPC says there's more supply coming through, but folks are still asking, why do we still have those fuel queues, when we go on strike in the oil sector for a day? The consequences take days and perhaps weeks to taper off. So let's take those oil and gas stocks. We had a bit of a decent gain in that space yesterday. Not much of a surprise. The E&P company Seplat made about a 5% gain on less than 75,000 units of shares. Okay, these folks are just in gray. We can just roll over these guys and roll to where we had two green shoots yesterday. Yes, Seplat, a bellwether in that space, 567.05, and then Eternal Oil, which is a much smaller company in terms of market cap, finished £4.15, up 4.01% when the market closes. And that's just how we got there. The rest are in largely unchanged. Okay, let's move on. Folks are interested in this rice conversation, so let's push it out there. We have a number of conversations in the last 24, 48 hours about the rice markets in Nigeria, and this conversation comes always this time of the year, and we have a number of tweets. So let's see how talk about rice on Twitter. Let's bring it up. Okay, this is one of a few tweets that we track. Oluwole Dada at Oluwole_Dada retweeted a tweet from a PM News, and he says, I suppose we are told that our consumption in Nigeria is 7 million metric tons of rice. So if the farmers indeed produce 10 million metric tons, that means supply is now higher than demand. Okay. Then you find, so how do we align these figures? That's his concern. But what exactly did PM News tweeted yesterday? And that was the story that Nigeria produced over 10 million metric tons of rice this year. Okay, so that's an issue there. Then we got some reactions as well from the business community, and one of the financial analyst firm, ProShare, wrote an article concerning the state of rice in Nigeria, and this is part of what ProShare wrote. And on Twitter, ProShare says, the explanation for why rice prices remain high after the ban on importation and increase in local production, quote, smuggling of parboiled rice from across the borders. Let's take that paragraph next from ProShare. The Nigerian rice farmers and millers are losing livelihoods to smuggling. The government is not only losing revenue, but the self-sufficiency goal as well, due to the heavy influx of smuggled rice from across the borders. That's part of the article. But let's take it to the official level. The Vice President of Nigeria, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, on November the 27th, gave a statement regarding the state of the economy, and he spoke about rice and chicken and a few things. And this is part of what he said in that statement. The Vice President says last year, that was 2016, there was over 500,000 metric tons of rice around Christmas, which the Minister of Agriculture told us about how it came in through one of our neighbors, but we blocked it. The Vice President went on to say, now, that was as of November 27th. He said, 3 shiploads of rice have left Thailand. That was in November. 120,000 metric tons going to this same neighbor of ours who have very large warehouses where they store this rice. Let's continue with the Vice President. And he says, it is very clear that this rice is meant for us, that's Nigeria, because our neighbors don't consume parboiled rice, they consume the white broken rice. So what's the government doing about it? That's the last one. We have increased duty tax so as to discourage importation, but they would naturally drop duty to encourage import, and then it will come to Nigeria. Take it away. Adimo Kwesa is one of the economists and research analysts at Financial Derivatives Company. Good morning. It's good to have you again. It's a nice time to have this rice conversation because the consumption of rice is going to increase from today till the weekend, and on Monday, and on Tuesday. So it's a good time to discuss rice.
I think one can even use the number of bags one has, number of bags of rice as a gauge of how much the economy has improved. I'm sure you have received more bags of rice this year than 2015 or 2016.
No, I got only one. If I must disclose publicly. I must publicly disclose. That's why I'm on television. Yeah, I got one bag. So I'm still counting days anyway. But then. You've seen some of the tweets.
Yes, indeed.
And so let's just go straight to this conversation about rice, where it's become very a naughty subject matter for us. And you saw part of what we pushed out there from the Vice President when he spoke just almost a month ago, November 27th, about what our neighbors are doing to us across the West Coast, from Benin Republic to Togo and maybe farther down.
Yes. That is true. So I think smuggling is a very pervasive issue now. There's a lot of influx of rice from neighboring countries because there is a market. We have a high population, highly populated, 108 million people compared to Benin Republic, which is about 5 billion, Ivory Coast, 20 million. So there is a market for rice in this country. And I think if you look at the charts, we saw that there's a positive correlation between the top rice producers. Okay,
we're going to go to those charts that you folks put together, and I love those charts. If you look at the total, you're speaking to the total global production of rice.
If you look at it, the top rice producers are the top rice consumers. And also all those countries on those lists are countries with high population: China, India, Indonesia. The least is Thailand, which is 60 million.
Vietnam and the rest.
So because Nigeria has a very high population of 180 million, there's a market for rice. So that is why all these farmers would rather smuggle where the market is. But notwithstanding, the price of rice is still high. Although there's a massive influx of rice, the price of rice is still high. The foreign imported bag of rice is about 15,000 naira. Whereas